Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the YouOrns Monday Focus on Watford versus Birmingham tomorrow night at Vicarage Road. Watford look to bounce back from an appalling display at Queen's Park Rangers, and they look to end their three-match winless streak as well. They lost two of their last three games. Watford looking to put things right at Vicarage Road as well. The last time they played at Vicarage Road, it was a frustrating goalless draw against Preston, and now tomorrow night they'll take on Birmingham. But without Troy Deeney, Birmingham will be coming into the Vic, although Deeney may accompany them on travel to Vicarage Road. Deeney has been out with a hamstring injury now for several weeks, and he may be out for several weeks more. Troy Deeney, of course, was a talisman at Watford, and he is the leader that Watford are desperately missing now in the clubhouse. They really need to have someone like a Troy Deeney shake this team up, but I do think that that's far too little and far too late for this Watford side, who now, with this game, would begin their final 10 games of this football season in the Championship, and any kind of shot at any playoffs, which I think really now are out the window for Watford, will have to begin, obviously, with this game. Watford, in my estimation, needs 7 wins from these final 10 games to get into the playoffs to have a really good chance at it. And I just don't see that happening. Tomorrow night, they'll be facing a Birmingham side who have the likes of Scott Hogan as a forward and, of course, Lucas Djukovic as one of the strikers, who is a handful, a big unit, someone who causes a lot of problems in the box. And, of course, Birmingham also have a former Watford player managing them. We know him well, the former skipper of Watford, John Eustace, a man who really did put himself about in the midfield and lead that Watford side from a few years back. John Eustace is the Birmingham City manager, and it'll be his return to the Vic for the first time in a little while now. And so that should be very interesting as he will plot Birmingham's course. Birmingham have struggled for much of this season. They are in the bottom 6 in the table, and they have had a lot of injuries this season, including the aforementioned Troy Deeney. Watford will be looking to put things right. I don't expect Chris Wilder to make too many changes here as he goes to head as the head coach of Watford here in his home debut for Watford. We'll see how it goes. I doubt that there's going to be very many changes, probably maybe 1 or 2 little tweaks from Chris Wilder. He spent a few additional days with the team, so I do expect there'll be more of a style of Chris Wilder in the way that Watford go forward. But again, as I've said in repeated instances on the YouOrns podcast and elsewhere, if Watford don't have the appropriate desire and the attitude and the mentality right, it doesn't matter what tactics they are instilled with. It doesn't matter which manager comes in here and manages them for 11 games or 5 or 10 or 50. They are not going to win the games that they have to win. They're just not going to get the 3 points. If they don't apply themselves, they will have to, of course, change the script tomorrow night. And let's hope and let's really get behind these lads, because, of course, as bad as things have been at Vicarage Road over the last several seasons, the last couple of seasons at least, and we all know where the shortcomings are around things at Vicarage Road, including on the pitch, these lads are going to have to show you tomorrow night that they do give a damn. Will we be proven wrong, or will these lads continue to show us that they don't care? Well, time will tell. Chris Wilder will mold and shape and do what he can, but really, now this is not up to him. Chris Wilder is a steward, a temporary steward at this Watford club, and he will only be here until the end of the season. This is really not about Chris Wilder, and there really isn't any pressure on him. This is about Watford footballers who are auditioning for the remainder of the season, or should I be more accurate about that? Auditioning for next season. If they want to be here next season, these 10 games are going to be where the test comes, beginning with tomorrow night against this Birmingham City side, who have absolutely nothing to play for now. They're not going to get relegated, in my estimation, and they have a lot of good talent at that Birmingham City side. They've got some Manchester United players or former Manchester United players or loanees on their teams. They've got the likes of, as I said, Scott Hogan, Lucas Jukovic. I've talked about how Birmingham are a very physical team, and usually, now it can change tomorrow, we'll see, but John Eustace normally likes to play a flat back three, and he will cultivate that. He may switch up the formations, but usually he's a solid 3-4-1-2 man, particularly that three at the back. And he does like to get in long balls. He's very physical. He plays a very, he utilizes a very physically set Birmingham City side who will take chances. Their set pieces are pretty darn good. They've got Bacunia on their team, another Bacunia. I'm not sure if they're related if he's related to the Watford Bacunia, but I do know that Bacunia can get you a free kick and he can really do well on that set piece. So Watford are going to have to watch out for the set piece taking here, and they're going to have to be careful of the long balls. Watford now are dealing with a very physical Birmingham side who scrapped and scraped against them in a 1-1 draw earlier this season at St. Andrews. Birmingham are going to employ the formula that every away side does when they come to the Vig, which is to frustrate, slow Watford down, get physical with Watford, slow down the game, slow down the clock, make sure that the optimal conditions for Watford in going forward are stifled at every turn, mess up the game. And that has worked for almost every away side, with obvious exceptions, this season at the Vig. So Watford recognize that tactic has been employed by nearly all the away teams this season. They're going to have to adopt a new approach. And really, the new approach is the same approach that has been the one that I have been asking from them all season long. And that is to come out of the gates, to come out of the traps with a mindset to score first and to win the game early and finish their opposition off. Watford need a goal to get them settled, and they need to be able to be settled and confident in possession. There is no use having 60% possession, 57% possession, 55% possession if you are not carefully and effectively doing anything with that possession. If you are not delivering a good final ball, if your end product is weak, if you don't have any finishing skills and abilities, it doesn't matter how much of the ball you see and how much of the ball you have. You now have to structure your offensive game plan going forward with an effective and very clinical element of the game, which is, of course, finishing. These lads have got to be on the same page tomorrow night. And I think, if anything, that Watford can absolutely do in this game, beyond the obvious, beyond getting out on the front foot, scoring first, is to play together as individuals, play together as a team. Individual play is something, but teamwork is everything. And tomorrow night, Watford are going to have a team of individuals play as a team together. And if Watford can do that, then they will be in good stead tomorrow night. But I think that Watford will have to start shaking off this mentality of, oh, well, there's only 10 more games left. Let's just get through these games and we can all go on the beach for real. Let's hope that this Watford side are going to give us an effort. This is a Watford team that owes this to the fans. It owes Watford fans an effort. It owes Watford fans the desperation. It owes Watford fans the interest, the indication that you even care about these football matches. If the fans care enough to turn up with their hard-earned money, their season tickets, and all the rest of it, if the fans care enough, as they do here at Watford, to turn up and be at the Vic on a midweek game, to travel from parts unknown and everywhere else to get to Vicarage Road, then the players, the very least the players can do is to show that they care, and by letting their play on the pitch do the talking. This has been the YouOrns 10-minute take. No, it's not. Not the 10-minute take. It's a Sunday. No, it's not Sunday either. It is actually the Monday focus. Must be this t-shirt I'm wearing.